6 out of 10 children experience some sort of violence. 1 in 4 girls and 10% of boys will be victims of sexual violence before they get to the age of 18. For children living in communities, these odds are even higher.
Basically, the Grassroots intervention project against child sexual abuse is focused on mobilizing community members to recognize sexual abuse against children as a human rights violation and not just an issue to be settled at home amongst those who are affected. So we went into 3 communities in the FCT, Tasha 1 and Wukara in Abuja Municipal Area Council, and Kaeda in Kuje Area Council. And they worked with these communities to establish the child protection committees. They were trained, they were mentored, they were inaugurated and accepted by the whole of the community. And I must say really gladly that we're able to reach children in the communities that are now empowered, that are now speaking up, that are now educating their peers, and also most especially, protecting themselves, knowing what to do, knowing the approach of the abusers, and knowing how to prevent sexual violence from happening.
In Okara community, I'm been living no less than 9 years now. Before SOAR come, in terms of sexual abuse, is somehow or so rampant at a girls in Okara community. In their primary school, they are already being adults of man everywhere. They cannot, some of them cannot even stay in their father's house because of a man. And because of that, they couldn't further their education and then get early pregnancy. They will try to worsen the situation by pushing the girl to the man that did the nonsense.
Before the coming of SOAR initiative, it is the community king and his cabinet that used to handle any case that has to do with sexual abuse in the community. The penalty that the perpetrator will pass through and any other thing. Honestly, it wasn't easy because it's within the king, his cabinet, and the rest, and knowing each other. Sometimes issue of I know this person, how should he be treated like that, and the rest.
People living with disabilities are even at more risk of abuse.
Okay, like a physical challenging disability, sometimes they don't have the place where they sit down. Like if deaf, if somebody enter their room, they don't know who can enter session of them. They don't know. Like me, I don't have leg, but I have brain. Like deaf, I like blind. If you enter their room, they don't know anything. I'm a member for the CCPC, but I put my belt to tight because I don't want to see sexual abuse for the child.
For children living with disabilities in communities, the chances of sexual abuse are higher compared to a child not living with a disability. Children with disabilities are almost 4 times more likely to experience violence than non-disabled children, and 2.9 times more likely to be victims of sexual violence.
So, before the crime, we are facing challenges about this child abuse. We don't know how to pursue this myself in this village because the things too plenty. We don't know. We call people, we call the elders, we call the youth that do not work. But as this program came, we just still at one that you don't stop. Everybody's fear. So let's see and maybe small we see the changes. Changes mad far.
In some communities, child sexual abuse cases are covered up by community members if the survivor and abuser are from the same tribe.
It's not easy for only government to handle everything. They give knowledge about the sexual abuse. They also create awareness and they sensitize our leaders on how to handle if something happens. And at the same time, how do they prevent it?
The Babalola Area Council gives moral and enabling environments for all NGOs that come to Babalola to work effectively. And Una community have benefited in the sense that the program have enlightened the community the more on issue of gender-based violence.
Now, as I'm talking to you now, almost everybody in the community is aware about all forms of violence on children and the various penalties attached to them.
SOAR initiative has successfully launched the SOAR Child and Teen Support Center. Since inception, this center has attended to 367 calls and 91 cases and counting, with various success stories.
We get the child's biodata, and after that we conduct the assessment to determine the gravity of the case and if it is the center's case or not. If it's not our case, we refer to the appropriate service providers, and then follow up. But if it's the case of the center, then we determine, okay, do they need medical attention? Does the case need to be reported to the police? And we help them, we support them to access such services. And then for us in the center, we also provide this psychosocial, which is the counseling. And while they are doing the counseling, one-on-one counseling, we also provide family counseling. And then we put the survivors in a group where we call the support group.
When you see people that are passionate about what they believe in, their vision, their mission, you only have no other option than to encourage them. And since I know that in terms of enforcement, they are handicapped, I have no choice than to assist. And more so, they're also helping us in the sense that we cannot be there all the time. They are the ones that go to the grassroots. In fact, during the lockdown, SOAR initiative was virtually coming, their cases were coming here on daily basis. And I had no choice than to ask. It was when I asked that I got to know that they go for what they call grassroots sensitization. And at every point in time they go for such sensitization, you see people that have been on their cocoon coming out with all manner of complaints, all manner of reports. And that is what we cannot do it on our own alone. So in fact, they are just like our extended naptip.
Things change when SOAR initiative come to Okada community. SOAR initiative has trained, equipped, and they have also inaugurated 110 community child protection committee members in 4 communities, and they are to prevent, respond to all forms of child sexual abuse. Now, through the peer educators training program, 1,194 children have been enrolled into the program. Now we have 32 peer educators in all project communities, and they have been trained to prevent, identify and respond to cases around child sexual abuse.
I have learned that sexual abuse is an offense. I have also learned how to speak up and report. Now I know my rights. I know when someone is being abused in my presence. This mentorship program has made me understand my left from my rights when it comes to sexual abuse.
This CCPC, now for all the general, for the Muslim and Christianity.
You mean I saw by my eyes, 2 eyes. One boy, one touch small girl. Say, no, you don't go to that school. You don't know that the teacher was that boys know they should not touch girl again. So I'm there, I'm very happy. So yes, there's no any girl can allow boy to touch her anyhow like that again. So before, nothing like that. But as this program can carry, you see how the two don't change totally.
When there is a success story from one of our cases, you feel like you won a jackpot. That is just what you feel. You feel so happy because many times you don't know if you don't even know if you are making an impact. You know, they keep coming and many times they don't even talk to you. On the first 2 meetings, you don't even know what you are doing. But at the end of the day, when you see the smile on their faces, when you see them telling you how happy they are to have met you, you know, it's one of the best feelings anyone can ever have.
The impact of the CCBC on the ages, as I'm talking to you now, will be beneficial, will go a long way to impact on the people, even now and the next generation in the community.
You need to see a survivor when they start smiling. It's out of this world. Especially if you can remember when they came, the first time they came, and then see them. It's really something.
I stand.
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 I, Chinyere Eyo, stand
To end child sexual abuse. To always end child sexual abuse.
To end the child sexual abuse.
To end child sexual abuse.
To end sexual abuse.
To end child sexual abuse.
To end sexual abuse.
To end child sexual abuse.
To end child sexual abuse.
to end child sexual abuse.